What's up, guys? It's me, Roman Reigns, and welcome to the very last part of the greatest wrestling DVD collection of all time. Get out of here. Really is the greatest DVD collection of all time. What's up, guys? I'm back here again with my buddy Rusev and my buddy Roman Reigns here, duking it out. I am here to show you guys my final video here for my wrestling collection, and I am going to start with Simple Pay-Per-View DVD. This is the Survivor Series 2007. This is Edge on the cover. It's pretty crazy because he has a freaking chainsaw. So it seems to be like a very violent pay-per-view and stuff. But no, it's just a simple Survivor Series PG. The Arrow PG. What can I say? It's just a regular freaking pay-per-view here. What I like to call the kind of like depressing era of wrestling. Not my favorite era here. And matches here include the traditional Survivor Series match, which has a Triple H, Jeff Hardy, Rey Mysterio, and Kane versus Umaga, Mr. Kennedy, MVP, and Big Daddy V. It also has a triple threat match for the ECW Championship, CM Punk versus John Morrison versus The Miz. It has a WWE Championship match, which has Randy Orton versus Shawn Michaels, and the Hell in a Cell match for the World Heavyweight Championship. And it's Batista versus The Undertaker on this pay-per-view. Plus, there's a bunch of other matches here. Hornswoggle versus the Great Khali. A bunch of bullshit WWE likes to make. So this was the all the brands together, which was Raw, SmackDown, and ECW, all together on this stupid pay-per-view. Another dumb pay-per-view here, Royal Rumble. This was also 2007, which we are gonna see ECW Championship match, Bobby Lashley versus Test. Rest in peace, Test. Then you're gonna have the Last Man Standing match for the WWE Championship. John Cena defense against Umaga. And then we're gonna get the World Heavyweight Championship match, Mr. Kennedy versus Batista. And then, of course, the Rumble itself, the 30-man Battle Royal Rumble here to determine the #1 contender that's going to headline WrestleMania in the year 2007. Then we're going to go on to ECW Bloodsport. Now, this is a pretty good compilation of 19 matches, most brutal matches in ECW history, all full of blood, not recommended for kids. And yeah, here you go. Even the discs have blood in it. It's a 2-disc set, so definitely a really good set here, featuring the Dudleys, Terry Funk, Tommy Dreamer, Sandman, you know, the usual ECW guys, Taz, Sabu, all those guys. So yeah, 19 matches packed here on this 2 DVD sets. Really cool, really interesting. A lot of blood. If you guys like extreme violence, this is the most violent matches in ECW history. It is a WWE release, so I don't know how much of it will be edited. I'm sure the original songs and all that stuff is going to be edited, but nevertheless, a pretty good set with a pretty good, decent quality on it. If you guys are into ECW. Then here, the next one here is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. He's definitely in my top 10. Awesome guy for a guy his size. This is The Undertaker. This is Tombstone, the history of The Undertaker. This is a very early release, DVD release here from the WWE home video. It's from 2005 and it's 10 hours long. It features 21 of The Undertaker's greatest matches, including the classic Survivor Series match against Hulk Hogan in 1981. It has Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels at In Your House Ground Zero. Again against Shawn Michaels and In Your House Bad Blood. Undertaker versus Hulk Hogan in Judgment Day 2002, versus Mankind, the Buried Alive match, versus Diesel from WrestleMania 12. A lot of matches here. This is a 3-disc set, talking about the history of the Undertaker. And back then they wouldn't do the flipping disc, so they would all include it in one thing, which kind of sucked. But yeah, here are the three eras of him: the past, present, and future, I guess if you want to say. So yeah, so all 3 discs. It's kind of weird, they're all crunched into one slot here. But yeah, a really good set if you guys like the Undertaker. It talks about him, and it talks about, you know, how he got into wrestling and all that stuff. And it also has awesome matches here. Really cool set here if you guys are Undertaker fans. Then I got here the very best of WCW Monday Nitro. This is a very good set. I remember as a kid I used to flip channels between Monday Night Raw and WCW. But I was more of a WWF guy, so whenever WWF Raw would go on commercials, I would switch to WCW. But yeah, this is a really good set. Now that I'm older and I have the WWE Network, I do watch a lot of Nitros. And definitely the better wrestling show was WCW Nitro. They had a lot of great talent. It's just that they didn't know how to use it the right way and all that stuff. Towards the end, they really blew it. And yeah, it features 8 hours and 3 discs, which a lot of great matches. Chris Jericho versus Rey Mysterio, the final match on Nitro, which was Sting versus the Nature Boy Ric Flair. Also has Randy Savage and Hulk Hogan versus Ric Flair and Arn Anderson. That was a classic. A lot of great matches and a lot of good memories came here from WCW Monday Nitro. So this is definitely the best of Monday Nitro. If you guys are getting into it for the first time, that's a very good DVD to start off. Or if not, if you used to watch it like I did, it'll bring back a lot of memories and a lot of nostalgia. So definitely really cool set. This is a pretty good set here from WWE Home Video. The Chris Jericho, The Road is Jericho. If you guys are into Chris Jericho and his matches, I think he's a phenomenal wrestler. Really good wrestler. Very talented on the mic and in the ring. Even a bad if you throw him a bad opponent, he'll make him look good. Now he's a current IWGP Intercontinental Champion in Japan. Look how cool he was when he first started. That was super cool. His hair and his jacket and all that stuff. Yeah, man, he's actually one of my favorites, and it has a lot of stuff here, including like ECW stuff, like his matches against Pitbull #2 for the ECW World Television title. And then in between matches, they have like little stories and little interviews with him and little sections. Like for example, he'll talk about wrestle and romance. He'll talk about a big title win. I don't take time off. Things go by so fast. The X Factor, the injury prone because it was there. A lot of cool stuff. Then it has the Royal Rumble match from 2002 against The Rock, Chris Jericho versus The Rock for the undisputed WWE Championship. It has a lot of matches. The Raw match from 2008, the Street Fight for the World Heavyweight Championship. Chris Jericho versus John Cena. That was actually a dark match. Really cool set here. The Road is Jericho highlights the biggest moments of his careers for sure. Then I got here the best of Raw and SmackDown 2014. It was a pretty good year. I mean, you had The Rock that came back and did his angle against John Cena. You got the return of Brock Lesnar. He became the WWE champion. You got Evolution coming back, and you got the women's wrestling that became hot again. Then you got these two stables, which was the Wyatts and the Shield. They had a great feud. Again, this is a 3-disc set, and here you have it. A really cool set here, and it actually features the best of both. brands, so SmackDown and Raw, so it's pretty cool. Randy Orton versus Daniel Bryan from Raw 2014. John Cena and the Usos versus the Wyatt family from SmackDown. Has a lot of promos. Really cool set here. Again, 2014, not my favorite year in wrestling. I don't know. To me, nothing beats the late 80s, early 90s. To me, that was the greatest time in wrestling. Then I got here the Best of Sting. This is a three disc set. Really cool stuff here from Sting. If you guys are into Sting, I definitely recommend this. You should definitely check this out. 3 awesome CDs packed with amazing matches here from Sting. You have Sting versus Stan Lane, Sting versus Butch Reed, Sting versus Ron Simmons versus Barry Windham versus Ric Flair versus Bret Hart versus Kevin Nash versus Hollywood Hogan versus Randy Savage versus Booker T, Jeff Jarrett, again Ric Flair against Arn Anderson, the Blade Runners versus Brett Wayne Sawyer and Sean O'Reilly from UWF Pro Wrestling, from NWA Southern Pro Wrestling, Rick Steiner and Sting versus Mike Rotundo and Ron Simmons from 1987. So it brings you back even before he became the famous Sting that we all know from WCW. Really cool set. I believe they did something with his abs, because I don't remember Sting ever having those abs right there. So I mean, maybe he did, but he looks really ripped. I'm sure they photoshopped this cover somehow. So yeah, 3 disc set here. Running time over 7 hours of great matches, great interviews. If you guys like Sting, this is the set to get. Really cool stuff from the WWE home video. I really like it. Big fan of that. Then this is another incredible set here from Rey Mysterio, The Life of a Masked Man. And of course, I did get it signed in one of the conventions I went to. Really cool Mexican luchador. Probably the most famous Mexican wrestler ever alive. Awesome matches, of course. Him and Chavo Guerrero, him and Eddie Guerrero. Rey Mysterio and Batista versus Eminem. Rey Mysterio versus Finlay. It has Rey Mysterio, his old school stuff. Rey Mysterio and Conan versus La Parka and Psicosis. Rey Mysterio versus Juventud Guerrera from ECW Extreme Bash 1996. Has it has special interviews and segments in between matches, and there's one is called The Creation of a Mask. That's pretty cool, like how they started with his mask and stuff. Really cool, man. Really cool set. Talks about Eddie Guerrero's death and how close he was to Eddie Guerrero. And I'm so happy I got this signed by the man, Rey Mysterio. Really cool set here. One of my favorite of all times, Scott Hall. This is Living on the Razor's Edge, the Scott Hall story. And it shows a lot of matches here with the 1, 2, 3 Kid, Shawn Michaels, Lex Luger, Chris Jericho, Goldberg, Steve Austin, Bret Hart, Diesel, and a lot more. Like this is a really cool set. I got the limited edition Best Buy Steelbook, and I haven't opened it, so. But yeah, I really like Scott Hall. I met him in a convention. Super cool guy. I actually told him I fell for it when he first came into the WWF and he portrayed the Cuban character. I actually believed it, and it draw a lot of attention over here in Miami, because I am from Miami, and everybody around here loved Razor Ramon, because finally Miami has someone to represent the city in the world of professional wrestling, and he made it very believable that he was Cuban, but he's nowhere from being Cuban. I think he's from Minneapolis somewhere. He's not Cuban at all, but him and Vince McMahon really tricked me, and I'm sure they tricked a lot of people when he first started in the WWE with that Scarface character. And yeah, man, really cool set here. It takes you back to the AWA days when he first started with Kurt Hennig and all that stuff, and a lot of interesting stories and interviews here on this set, Scott Hall. Then I got another pay-per-view here, WrestleMania 28. I can't remember the last good WrestleMania, man. WrestleMania hasn't been good in a very long time. But yeah, this was pretty decent. I had pretty good matches. I had Cody Rhodes versus The Big Show for Intercontinental match. CM Punk versus Chris Jericho. And actually, this was the worst. One of my favorite wrestlers is Daniel Bryan, and he was the champion. He was the world heavyweight champion, and they put him against Sheamus, and Sheamus beat him like in 19 seconds with a bro kick, and that's it. It was over. I was so disappointed, and the worst part about that match, it was like the second or third match into WrestleMania, that kind of like destroyed the entire WrestleMania for me. It was like, what the hell? How can they beat Daniel Bryan in 19 seconds? They made him look like a fool. Anyways, so yeah, it was The Rock versus John Cena for the WWE Championship, and this was held here in my hometown in Miami. So I did attend this show. It wasn't that good live. I mean, I gotta rewatch it in TV, but being there wasn't all that great. Plus, they had like palm trees, and those palm trees were in the way, obstructing the view of the ring. It was pretty annoying, so I wasn't a big fan of this WrestleMania. But it was here in Miami, in the Pro Player Stadium. So, you know, I had to go. Pretty cool set. It also includes the Hall of Fame induction from this year, which was 2012. And, yeah, so Undertaker versus Triple H. Shawn Michaels was the referee. This was the end of an era. They said that was the last time they would wrestle each other, but that wasn't true because they wrestled the other day at the Saudi Arabia show. Then I got here a ECW double pack. This is the Rise and Fall of ECW and ECW's One Night Stand. Really cool set here. 2 separate DVDs. Of course, the Rise and Fall of ECW is very interesting. It talks about, like, you know, how they started, how the promotion started, how it kicked off, and all the talent that all other companies were throwing away, they would pick up and they turned them into stars, like Sabu, Taz, Mick Foley, Steve Austin, Rob Van Dam, Terry Funk, the Dudleys. And this runs to 6 hours, and it has a lot of cool stories and a lot of cool interviews with people behind the scenes. Paul Heyman, of course, and this runs in 6 hours of cool stuff. And also matches like Taz versus Bam Bam Bigelow, RVD versus Jerry Lynn, the Pitbulls versus Raven and Stevie Richards, Mikey Whipwreck versus the Sandman, Psychosis versus Rey Mysterio. Really cool set, the Rise and Fall of ECW. And then here we got WWE's version of ECW, and they had a pay-per-view called the One Night Stand. This was held in 2005. And it was pretty good. It brought a lot of nostalgia. If you ever missed ECW, they brought back Axel Rotten, Rhino, the Dudleys, the Sandman, Tommy Dreamer, Rhino. They got Lance Storm versus Chris Jericho, Eddie Guerrero versus Chris Benoit. Really cool pay-per-view here from ECW's One Night Stand. And yeah, held in 2005. So yeah, I really enjoyed these 2 sets. ECW was really good back then. Very different from everything else that was going on at that time. Then I got here, I bought this at Walmart not too long ago. This is The Price of Fame. Kind of like a documentary of the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, and his story. And, you know, it's pretty much, Ted DiBiase Jr. had a lot to do with this, the release of this DVD. And yeah, pretty much the story of how he got into wrestling, how his lifestyle, how he lived, and how he became a Christian man. He became more religious. And yeah, it's an interesting story if you're a big fan of Ted DiBiase. I met him not too long, maybe like 5-6 years ago at a convention as well. Took a picture with the guy, really nice guy, easy to talk to. If you guys have never seen this and like Ted DiBiase, I highly recommend this. Nicest guy. In wrestling, he was the top villain, one of the worst bad guys of all time. One of the greatest heels ever, in my opinion. But yeah, this is a really good set. It's a 1-disc set. There's no matches here. But it does have a lot of promos, a lot of interviews, and a lot of backstage stories and politics that happened through his lifetime in the world of professional wrestling. Alright, then I got one of my favorites here. This is the greatest wrestling stars of the 80s. This is a very, very good set. In my opinion, probably the best, one of the best sets the WWE has ever pulled out. This is really cool. Look at Sergeant Slaughter here. Greatest stars of the 1980s. All Iron Sheik, Ricky Steamboat. And it goes into detail. It takes the time to go into detail with these superstars from the 80s. It's 3-disc set, and it mainly talks about Bobby Heenan, the Junkyard Dog, Sergeant Slaughter, Greg the Hammer Valentine, Roddy Piper, Jerry the King Lawler, Arn Anderson, Dusty Rhodes, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, Ric Flair, Jimmy Snuka, Cowboy Bob Orton, Iron Sheik, Paul Orndorff, and Hulk Hogan. And of course it has 16 classic matches featuring all those guys. And it also has, you know, the famous match of Roddy Piper versus Greg Valentine, the dog collar match from 1983. Jimmy Snuka versus Bob Backlund, Roddy Piper versus Hogan. The war to settle the score, Madison Square Garden in 1985. Has Dusty Rhodes versus Ric Flair from the $1 million challenge from Starrcade 1984. Really, really awesome set. If you guys are into wrestling and if you guys like the 80s, this is the set to have. Awesome fucking set. I really enjoyed this. Really loved this set. It was really, really memorable. Then I got Before They Were Stars, Rey Mysterio, of course, and you know, has a lot of old school stuff when he first started, when he was just a kid, and has a bunch of underground matches of Rey Mysterio, and it talks about his family and, you know, the process of him getting into wrestling and all that stuff. I believe this is a double. I believe I've talked about this one before. I probably have it again, but this is the best of Clash of the Champions, which was a pretty good era here. They would just throw like pay-per-view matches on regular TV on TBS, and they would kind of like compete with kind of like it was kind of like In Your House, but In Your House was in pay-per-view, but Clash of the Champions was just like on TV, free matches, pay-per-view quality matches. They would build up like rivalries and feuds, and they would just give you like free matches on TBS, and they would all run like about in 2 hours. This set is a 3-disc set, and it runs at 7 hours. It has great matches like Brian Pillman versus Stunning Steve Austin from Clash of the Champions 25. The Cruiserweight title, Eddie Guerrero versus Chris Jericho from Clash of the Champions 35. Ric Flair versus Terry Funk, the I Quit match from Clash of the Champions 9. Really cool stuff, man. If you guys dig WCW, definitely check this one out. Clash of the Champions. I believe I have that double. I remember talking about that earlier. Then I got the Daniel Bryan's Just Say Yes, Yes, Yes. Awesome, awesome set. One of the greatest wrestlers alive. One of the best of all time. If you ask me, his Ring of Honor work was the best. He was amazing in ROH. And WWE, he's obviously the best one there right now. But this is a 2-disc set, taking you back to all his promos, his really cool promos, his run-ins, his matches against CM Punk. Here we got matches against Sheamus, Kofi Kingston, R-Truth, Randy Orton. Really, really cool set here from the WWE, but this is from his time in the WWE. Don't expect anything from Ring of Honor to be here, which that kind of sucked because his career was awesome in ROH. And I should definitely pick up the ROH best of Bryan Danielson, because he was the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson over there, not Daniel Bryan. But yeah, definitely a good set. This is the best of SmackDown 2009-2010. Not a big fan of this set. I don't really care about SmackDown or those years in particular. 3-disc set, typical, a lot of Undertaker stuff and Rey Mysterio stuff here. Whatever, it is what it is. Got it on sale, so. Then Then I'm gonna show you guys something I have here, really special to me, and this is WrestleMania 6, the original WrestleMania 6 on VHS, and it's not only the original VHS, but it's also signed by Hulk Hogan. Yes, signed by Hulk Hogan. Here you go, WrestleMania 6, the tape, VHS. And this was really cool. When I met him over there, I drove all the way to Tampa to go meet Hogan. Took a picture with him, and he signed this. And he also signed my WrestleMania 7. Both really special to me. I was a big fan. Obviously, WrestleMania 6 being my favorite WrestleMania of all time. Really, really cool set. Cool WrestleManias. Both signed by Hulk Hogan. Really cool. Those I try to keep in pretty good condition. Then I have here an entire set here of SummerSlam, and this is the complete anthology featuring 20 discs, and it runs from 1988 to 2007. So this was the complete anthology. This came out in 2007. So yeah, at that point it was complete. So the first set is from 1988. From 1988 to 92. And then the second one's from 93 to 97. The third one's from 98 to 2002. And the last one would be from 2003 to 2007. Really awesome set here. Since it's SummerSlam and it's the time of summer, it's in this little cooler box set. Awesome stuff. And what fan isn't gonna have the entire WrestleMania anthology here, featuring all the WrestleManias ever? And actually not all the WrestleMania ever, because this was only until WrestleMania 21. So it's WrestleMania 1 through 21, volumes 1, 2, 3, 4. All the WrestleManias going all the way to WrestleMania 21, which of course happened a very long time ago. But at the time, this was the complete anthology box set, really cool box set. And that's pretty much it. That's my entire DVD, wrestling DVD collection that I have. I'm pretty sure there's more out there, but as of right now, as far as Walmart doesn't sell them for very cheap, I don't buy them. I'm not gonna spend $20 on a wrestling set if I have the WWE Network right there. But if I catch it for like $3.99, $4.99, you bet your ass I'm gonna get it. So yeah, man, pretty cool stuff here that I got from WWE Home Videos. And I hope you guys enjoyed this entire 10-part series of all the wrestling DVDs that I have. And until next time, I'll see you guys soon. Hope you guys have a good time. Bye.